Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Y&E podcast. Thank you for joining us. And if you haven't subscribed, please make sure you subscribe, like, share, and join us in the comment section. So, we're talking about the recent Dangote truck accident that has been all over the place in Nigeria. In 2025 alone, we've had at least three high profile truck accident that has claimed multiple lives in Nigeria. And it looks like there are some other accident that Dangote related or not Dangote related in the news as well. Because these truck drivers, they're a menace, especially in freeway roads. And it's just sad that you see people unnecessarily losing body parts, getting crushed under the truck, trying to go about their businesses. And I think the government definitely needs to do something about it. Looking at this recent news, that kind of made me go back and remember whenever there's a truck behind my dad, whenever it was driving, he would pull over and let the truck pass. And now I'm seeing the reason why it did that. I was thinking maybe he was too afraid of driving, but it looks like he was being cautious. And we're seeing that a lot of these truck drivers, they're not following speed limits where applicable, and they're not even using common sense too. And common sense, drivers without proper license, bad roads, all these combinations are just a disaster. They're a disaster to people, the motorists on the road, to individuals using the road every day. But what do you think about all these truck accidents?
I mean, if I had not come to this place or if I wasn't living here, I'll probably have a different perspective. But my response is probably going to be shaped by my experience here. So I think Dangote as a person or as a company, Dangote Group as a company has really done well for the Nigerian people. Is almost the biggest employer of labor, has some charity and some non-profit that is going on that he's been, helping out, the people of the country, but that does not also excuse his monopolistic tendencies towards, the Nigerian state. With the issue of his trucks, I think he needs to do better. There are a lot of people making the argument that he probably do not have a direct supervision over those people. It looks like it's contracted out. He gave it out as a contract. It does excuse him from the accident some kind of way. It's just that his name is already on the trucks. But I think I would join my voice with the voice of people that are saying that he needs to do better. I think there should be a better vetting system to vet those drivers and make sure that number one, they are of age. Number two, they have this thing, just like this place where trucking is regulated. You can only drive for a certain number of hours. After such hours, you take a reset, or perhaps you take a break, then continues again. I think here you can only drive for 8 hours. And out of that 8 hours, I think you have to even have a breaks in between. So you can't just drive straight. The only exception to that rule is people that haul livestock. If you move a livestock like chicken, pigs, maybe cow and stuff like that, you really do not have to take a break because you want to get those animals to wherever they're going as quick as possible, because if you're not able to move them quickly, they could start having problems. They can start dying and stuff like that. And that would mean loss of money and stuff like that. But other than that, if you are a driver, you are a reefer driver, you only have a certain number of hours to drive in a day. Otherwise, you run into problem with the scale and with the I think the state troopers and stuff like that. So I think those are the things that Dangote can actually implement. Make sure that those people have a proper driver's license and ensuring that they're of age, ensuring that they have a proper driver license, and actually take very good care of these people, pay them well so that they can actually take a proper break and then work properly for you. If truly he contracted those positions out, I think he needs to speak to the people that he gave the job, out to contract, because as it is now, people are not hearing about the company that he gave out the contract to, if he did. So his name is still out there. So it means that he has to call those company back. They have to renegotiate that contract, and then there has to be a better system or a better way to hire drivers that actually knows how to drive.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything you said. Dangote is a brand. Dangote Group is a business. The Dangote Group, the business itself, are in business to make money and to try to find ways to save money instead of hiring their own drivers, instead of buying their own fleet of trucks. Have to worry about how to fuel the vehicles, worry about the insurance cost. They are subcontracting the job out. They're using third party operators. And like you said, it's also important that they do their due diligence whenever they're awarding contracts to third party businesses. If you want to participate in Amazon delivery business, even though it's your business, it's your own business, you are a third party contractor to Amazon. And Amazon will make sure you have the proper processes in place, proper insurance in place to be able to do business with it. Even though your trucks are branded as Amazon, even though your trucks are branded as Prime, you're directly not working for Amazon. You're a subcontractor to Amazon, and I believe this is the way they set it up. But Dangote Group definitely needs to make sure that they have the proper licensing, proper documentation, and they're holding their third-party contractors accountable. We want to make sure they have proper insurance. We want to make sure the trucks are roadworthy. And some of these trucks, once there's a couple of bad tires, everybody on the road is unsafe. And we know there's so much trucks on the road in Nigeria, moving from one place to the other, trying to move goods around and move people around. And they're important. We can't get rid of them. They're an important part of the society. I mean, to transport something from one end of the country to another, you need these trucks. It's just important that the Dangote Group is holding their third-party operators accountable. And also the government too. We have the Federal Road Safety Corps. What the heck are they doing? I don't understand what their job is, right? It's a job only to just stay on the road, check driver's license, check for extinguishers. How about making sure that the vehicles are roadworthy before they give them the approvers, before they approve their registrations? I don't know how it's done in Nigeria. Maybe they don't do registration every year. Maybe they do it once in a while. But all these trucks needs to be roadworthy before they're allowed to be on the road. You're not just putting other people at risk. You're putting everyone, even your family members, even that you don't know, they may be on the road and might just be at the wrong place at the wrong time and be a victim of one of these accidents. A lot of these accidents are avoidable. I think it's important that our federal road safety corps do a better job. They need to be proactive, not just reactive when the accidents occur. They need to be proactive, checking out the paperwork, making sure the vehicles are roadworthy, making sure that they have good tires on their trucks. Those are the things that truck drivers here pay attention to whenever they're registering their vehicle and whether they're renewing their licenses or registration. They're checking to make sure the vehicles are roadworthy. You can't just do a blind registration for a vehicle. You have to take it in. They'll do 360 inspection before they can pass the truck. Even smaller vehicles, actually moving from one state to the other, the sheriff will have to inspect the vehicle and make sure, hey, if you say this vehicle is roadworthy in one state, you're coming to my state, I got to check that it's roadworthy in my own state before they can give you the registration. Things like this should be a no-brainer for the Federal Road Safety Commission. I don't know what the heck they've been doing, but obviously it's not working. I know accidents happen all the time, and maybe the internet is bringing it up and making people to see it. This is looking like a pattern, and there's a lot of crashes out there. There are a lot of trucks related accidents out there that could have been avoided. And I was looking at a data on the internet a while back, and it was saying that we've had about 2,600 people that have been affected in 318 crashes between 2015 and 2019. So that's a big number. That's one too many. And we need to make sure that these accidents are significantly reduced. And no accident will happen. We can do our best to control what we can control. And just let us do the bare minimum. Let's do the bare minimum and get those bad vehicles off the road. Trucks that are not roadworthy need to be off the road.
Yeah, I agree with you. You couldn't have said it any better. But I think in this instance, I think there are two things involved. The situation of our roads has been very terrible, very, very terrible, especially when you come to the south and they come to some part of southwest, and then when you are going to east. Basically, there is no road in Edo State. All the federal government, all the federal roads in Edo State are, badly damaged. So two things involved: the bad roads, and then the drivers probably not of age, probably not enough experience. I think, in fact, here in the US, there is something they call pre-trip inspection. Before you start your truck, as a truck driver, you have to inspect your truck. You have to inspect every component of that truck to make sure that they are not broken, they are not cracked, they are not rusted, and then every single thing or every moving part of that truck is in a good working condition. Like I said, I haven't been back home in a minute, so I really do not know how they operate over there. But if they are doing what they're supposed to be doing, I don't think all of this will be happening. Dangote, as a group and as a person, need to do better. I think he needs to get back to his subcontractors and see what they can do better. Look at the recruitment process, making sure that you can actually you're actually recruiting people that knows what they're doing. You see, in the US here, Trump is beginning to remove CDL licenses from people that cannot read and write English. I'm not saying that there is only one language in Nigeria, that English is the only language. But I mean, all the parts of Nigeria don't speak, Hausa. So, and we see that almost 90% of his drivers are Hausas. So, I think it would make sense to hire people that actually can read English and write English, a little bit, so that they can actually know what is, what is going on. I think they should, have these people go through driving schools, have a professional driving schools where they go through and then recruit them from that place. I think these are some of the things that can actually minimize these accidents. It's not like we can completely, completely wipe away accidents. It will just happen, but we want to make sure that we are doing our absolute best to make sure that when this thing happens is not something that we have control over, is something that is beyond our control that would make these accidents to happen. Like you said, even two accidents is one too many. A lot of times these things claim families, not just one person. It claims families. I used to hear when they say that cars run under the truck, especially during the Christmas time when people are traveling from Lagos to the east. You see a lot of them being crushed by trucks and like that. So I think those are some of the things they can implement, especially having a special school, like a driving school for CDL that they go through before they get their CDL. I think that would also help. Let us know what you think. Wherever you're watching from, what is obtainable? How do they issue driver's license? Do you think is the drivers or the personnel driving these trucks are to be blamed? Or you think is the road, Nigerian road are to be blamed? So let us know what you think, and we'll be waiting for you in the comment section. And thank you for your support, and we'll see you on the other side.